Hello students, today I'll be showing you how to submit your college application using the applytexas.org account. So this is a quick guide. Feel free to send me an email if you have any further questions about it or if you're confused. But to start off, we're going to go ahead and go over to www.applytexas.org. Once you get to that page, you're going to go ahead and create your account now. You're going to go ahead and fill in the boxes. It is going to ask for your last name. Make sure that you include 2 last names if you have 2 last names. When you ask about are you a U.S. citizen, if you happen to mark no, it is going to ask further questions about your status. If you have questions about this, let me know and I can further explain. But for a quick answer for this, if you go over the question where it says of what country are you a citizen, obviously it's going to be the city or the state that you were born in. For example, this one would be, let's just go with Mexico. Do you hold a permanent resident status for the U.S., meaning do you hold a permanent resident card, or also known as the green card? If you say yes, then you're gonna go ahead and put your the card number and since when have you been issued that card. If you say no, then at the bottom it's gonna say if you're not U.S. citizen or permanent resident, do you have any application for permanent residency pending with the U.S. citizenship or immigration? So if you say no, you're gonna go ahead and fill in this bottom section, and again it's gonna ask where do you hold citizenship at, and again this one will be Mexico because that's what we put in the first place. Anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. I'm gonna put yes. You're gonna put an email that you have access to because it may ask that you verify that email, so make sure that you have access to that email address. And then this is pretty much just general questions about you, your living status, your emergency contact, and so on and so forth. And your password, you're going to create your password. Once you do that and everything's good to go, it's going to go ahead and ask you to eventually log into your account again. So again, it's going to bring you back to this page. Or if it doesn't, you can always go ahead and exit out once you created your account. Again, you're going to log in. Your username is going to be the email you used when you created the account, and your password is going to be the password you created when you created the account. Be sure to save that information somewhere because you are going to need it for future references. Anyways, moving along. Once you log into your page, it's going to look something like this. You're going to go ahead and click create a new application or start a new blank application, whichever one, it'll take you to the same place. We're going to go ahead and click on create a new app now. This is going to ask are you applying for a 2-year or 4-year university? Right now I can tell you that 2-year college admission applications are not yet open for fall of 2021. You may have to wait a little bit until October, September to start those applications. But for the meantime, the 4-year university application should be open at this time. So we're going to go ahead and create 4-year university undergraduate admission application. It's going to ask the targeted university. What university are you trying to apply to? For this one, we're going to go ahead and select Sam Houston. It's going to ask for application type. In other words, are you going to be an incoming freshman or a transfer student? Obviously for us, it's always going to be freshman US. Continue. Semester of entry, when do you plan to start attending college? Ours is going to be fall 2021. And then we're going to continue. It's going to ask what department, what college are you trying to get into? For us, we're going to go ahead and choose criminal justice for now. You can select any other option based on what degree or you're trying to pursue or what kind of career you're trying to pursue. For us, we're going to go ahead and select criminal justice. And then it's going to ask for major. Major is what you want to study in college. So for us, it's going to be, if you notice here, it says Criminal Justice BA and Criminal Justice BS. So what does that mean? What's the difference between the two? Basically, this means Bachelor's of Arts and Science, and this means Bachelor's of Science. So this one will have more arts and literature in it, more English-based courses versus the Criminal Justice one, the BS one. This one will have more science in it because it's a bachelor's degree in science, so it'll have more science-based versus the arts and language and literature. So it really depends on you. If you don't like too much science, then we highly suggest the Bachelor Arts and Science. So again, we're going to go ahead and select Criminal Justice BA. We're going to continue. We're going to go ahead and continue to my app once again, and it's going to bring this page. If you notice on to your left side, it'll give you how far you are into finishing your application. So again, we're still at the very top at the beginning. This tells you what we're going to cover throughout the whole application. But moving along, again, it's going to ask for social security number. If you don't know your social, that's okay. You can always skip over it. And again, it's going to just bring up the same information that you have placed in when you had created your account. Other names of aliases, this just means that if you have any other last names or first name that you've used before. I don't think anyone has any, so I wouldn't put that in there. But again, all of this is just generated based off the information you had submitted previously. So I'm going to go ahead, go down, and it's going to ask about family education background. So if it has a little red star on it, that means you have to answer it. You cannot skip over it. So make sure that you answer this part of your application. So, and then question 17, Texas Conservatorship. At any time in your life were you placed in foster care or adopted from foster care in Texas? And AVDI text messaging consent, do you allow them to send you text messages? Make sure you answer those two questions before you move along. I'm going to go ahead and put no and then yes for me. County, make sure you, like I said, make sure that you're double checking your information just as I am right now, making sure that I have all the boxes filled in correctly. Because if you don't, it's really hard to get that corrected once the application is submitted to the university. Again, see, like I didn't answer those, so I'm just going to put no high school for me, and I'm going to save it. Like I said, it'll prompt you if you don't answer correctly. It'll ask that you fill in or double check those boxes again. So we're going to go ahead and save it. Okay, now it's going to ask that you verify your name. Make sure that your name is correctly along with your date of birth. If it is, you're going to check mark yes, my date of birth and have been saved correctly. You're going to say yes, and then you're going to go down to the bottom, and again it's going to bring up the same things. Or you don't necessarily have to go down to the bottom. Once you check mark yes, you're going to do save page, and then it's going to ask more questions. Your language, if you speak any other language other than English. For our Spanish speaking, you're going to always obviously select Spanish, and then the year spoken, you're going to select how many years you have spoken the language. And then it's going to ask for family income. You're just going to select. If you don't know it, it's okay. You can always skip over it. The household size, meaning how many people in the household, including yourself. And again, some of these questions you don't have to answer, but if you have any questions on what it means, let me know and I can better explain it. Supplemental parent information. It's just basically asking for parents' information. Who are you going to provide? This time I'm just going to put mother. I'm just going to put something real quick. Is this person still living? Yes. And it's just going to ask for the do you live with this person? I'm going to put yes, and that'll generate that same address. If not, if you put no, then it's going to ask that you input the parent information in there. I'm going to save it. Oh, I forgot the household. I'm going to put 2 for now. I'm gonna save it, and then it's gonna move on to find your school. You can always fill it in. You can do James, find your school. Okay, I'm gonna do find your school, name James Earl Letter, and I'm gonna select United States of America, state Texas, city Bryan, submit, and it's gonna bring James Earl Letter High School. You're gonna select the campus. At the very bottom says expected graduation date. Ours is going to be May of 2021. So let me select that real quick. Are you homeschooled? No. Do you plan to graduate with IB? We don't have that. International Baccalaureate. I don't think we don't have that here, so I want to put no. And then this part of the application, you can skip over it. This has nothing to do with this. That's if you have already attended a public college or university in Texas, which we have not. So I'm going to go ahead and skip over this part. Are you currently on academic suspension? We're always going to put no. But again, this part you can skip over it. It's going to ask, as you notice, we are moving along quickly. If you plan to pursue a pre-professional program, please select. In other words, are you trying to become a doctor? Are you trying to study nursing, veterinary, physical therapy, pharmacy, any of those special programs? If you're not, you're going to go ahead and select none. Will you be seeking teacher certification? Meaning, are you trying to become a teacher? For me, I'm going to go ahead and put yes, and then it's going to ask for the grade level of it, what level you're trying to teach. I'm going to put elementary for now. Here, it's going to ask that you input your senior classes, meaning all the classes that you're taking your senior year. For example, English. I'm going to do English for now. You're going to select whether it's AP or dual credit, whichever one pertains, and whether you're taking it first semester or second semester or both. This one I'm going to do AP first and second. For government and economics, if you're doing two different courses and only one semester, you're going to go ahead and do it like such as government, AP first semester, economics, AP second semester. So that's what it'll look like if you're taking two different classes and it's only one semester. But again, let me go back one. Again, you're not going to do trimester because we don't have trimester here. It's only first and second. Save it. Test scores. This institution, as you know, a lot of institutions are not requiring test scores. So this part where it asks about test scores is going to be empty. It's not going to ask that you input it. Normally, it would ask you when are you planning to take the test, have you taken it, and such. But for this particular section, they are not asking for it, so we're going to go ahead and save it. But again, does that mean that you don't have to take SAT or ECT test exams? I highly suggest that you do because you may need it for scholarship purposes. But again, keep in mind that you do not need test scores to submit your application for Sam Houston or for a lot of universities here in Texas. But again, keep in mind that you may need those scores for scholarship purposes. I'm going to go ahead and save it. And this is going to ask during the 12 months prior to the term which you are applying, did you attend a public college or university in Texas? I'm going to put no, because none of us have attended a public college or university in Texas. So a student may say, well, Ms. Cruz, I have been taking classes at Blinn for dual credit. Is that considered being a college student? No, you will always still put no. So no matter what, for this question right here, you are going to put no matter if you're taking dual credit. Now for residency information, of what state or country are you a resident? We're always going to leave it as Texas. It's going to ask, do you live or will you have lived in Texas for the last 36 months leading up to high school graduation? More likely, it's going to be yes for us. Yes. When you began the semester of which you are applying, will you have lived in Texas for the previous 12 months? And ours is going to be yes. But again, that may be different for you. But majority time for students is always yes. And this is the residency information, the questions and answers that we just inputted. So again, this is just for you to review. It's nothing for you to do anything with it. It's just for you to look at it. Save and continue. Extracurricular activities. Now this particular section, Sam Houston doesn't require it for you to have any extracurricular activities for volunteering. Some universities such as Texas A&M and UT, University of Texas, you are going to have to fill in the extracurricular and volunteer activities, and it is pretty lengthy. It is going to ask for detailed information, so keep in mind that Sam Houston application is very simple. You'll get it done within 30 minutes max. But again, for A&M, the bigger schools, just know that the extracurricular and volunteering activity is going to be there. They are going to ask about that, and it does take time for you to fill in this information because it is going to ask the number of hours, when you participated, what position did you hold, and so on and so forth. So again, keep in mind that for bigger universities, it'll ask for this information, and it is going to take you longer. I'm going to do save and complete this page. Employment information, again, this one doesn't ask about anything such as employment information, but again, for universities such as A&M and UT, it is going to ask about whether you have been employed, if so, what position, and from what dates, and how many hours you worked. But again, for Sam Houston, it does not ask for that information. So I'm going to save it again. Now it's just going to ask general questions, so be sure to go over these questions before you move on. And if you scroll down to the bottom, it'll have all the questions that you'll have to cover before actually submitting your application. So the first one is, have you ever been convicted of a felony? Obviously no. I'm going to save it. Then the next question moves up to the top. How did you hear about Sam Houston? I'm going to say current or Sam Houston State University student. Whichever pertains to you is the one you're going to select. I'm going to save it. And then the next question goes up. Honors college is optional. This is pretty much saying that in order to become eligible for the honors courses, you need to have a certain composite of SAT or ACT test scores. And they have other information here. 2-letter recommendation from your high school teacher, colleague, professor. But again, this is if you want to be in honors college. Now, what's the benefit of being in the honors college? The easiest way for me to explain it, it pretty much means like here in high school, you take AP courses, meaning you'll have a little bit more assignments. It's the same thing for college, but this time it's called honors college, meaning you'll have a little bit more assignments. Though there are benefits of being in honors college, you'll have somebody, an individual or teacher who will be there to guide you through those courses. You'll be able to select your courses on first before anyone. So those are some of the benefits of being in honors college. You have a better, chance of getting ahead versus if you were to take regular courses. But just keep in mind that your assignments are going to be a lot more compared to a regular student. So again, this is optional. You don't have to say yes to it. But whichever way you go, it's your choice. I'm going to say no thank you for now. How do you intend to complete your courses at Sam Houston? I'm going to go ahead and say 100% on campus. I personally recommend on campus just because doing online courses is a little bit more difficult, especially if you're a person who needs to do a one-on-one, one-to-one studying. I would highly recommend on campus versus online. It's a little bit more difficult for me. So again, it's up to you. Whichever route you take is what's best for you. And then our last question is moving up. I'm going to say save acknowledge question. And that's pretty much it. Save and complete this page. So we're pretty much completed the application itself. It's here. Your application is not yet ready to submit. You must complete all required items. Now it's saying that we are still missing some stuff with our application. It's going to ask us that we verify the email. So we're going to go ahead and send email verification. I'm going to click that and then send. Once that gets sent, you need to go check your email, the email that you used to create your Apply Texas account, and check it so that you can verify the email. Once you have done that, it will not prompt you again to ever do that again because you already verified your Apply Texas account. So once you do that, you may have to sign back in, or it might just let you continue from here. But if you have to sign back in, you're just gonna go ahead and like I said, it's gonna bring you to your dashboard, and then you're just gonna click. I'm gonna show you an example. I'm gonna go over to, let me save this, the bottom, save and proceed. I'm gonna go over to my dashboard. So every time you log out and you log back into your account, it's always gonna bring up your dashboard. Your dashboard shows you what college application you're working on, whether you have submitted or not, and so on and so forth. Just an FYI, you can copy your application to another application. For us, we haven't submitted, so I'm going to go back to submit or edit, whichever one you need to do. I'm going to do submit, and it's going to bring us to the same page we left off on. But again, all you're going to do is you're going to click your notifications, certificate of information, your contact acknowledgement, you're going to do yes. Transcript, you're going to do yes. Application sharing, that's up to you. If you are denied admission to a particular degree program to which you applied, do you allow the institution to share your application for admission with other institutions that offer a degree program? That degree program, you're going to say yes, I highly recommend it. And then this is just information for you to be aware of. But again, for this application fee is $50, as you notice. In other words, in order for them to review and for this application to be submitted, you need to pay the $50 fee. So if you get free or reduced lunch, you're going to select request for fee waiver, meaning you are not going to pay for this application. But if you don't get free or reduced lunch, then obviously we're going to have to pay, right? But again, that's how we're going to go ahead and submit. But that's pretty much a roundup of how to submit your college application using the Apply Texas. I'm going to go ahead and save and proceed for this one. Obviously, I'm not going to submit mine, but whenever you're ready, you're just going to put submit, and then at the last page is going to say your application has submitted. And that's pretty much it. You're going to go back to my account dash, and here it'll show that you have submitted on here. The status, it'll show you submitted. Now, once you submit one application, like I told you, you are able to copy that same application to different universities. Now, it may copy majority of the questions similar that are in the Sam Houston app. If you try to copy from Sam Houston to A&M, keep in mind that, remember, Sam Houston didn't have the volunteer employment section or the scholarship section, so A&M does have it. So that means that even if you copy Sam Houston's to A&M, you are going to have to still answer those sections of the application. So again, just make sure that you are aware of that. Make sure that those questions that you're covering are all being answered as best as you can. I'm going to go ahead and start a new app and give you an idea of how A&M's looks like. I'm going to create a new app. This time I'm going to select Texas A&M. A&M, application type, freshman US, continue. Semester of entry, fall 2021, continue. First choice of major, what do I want to study? I guess at this point, let's see, I'm gonna pick I guess I'll pick, I'm not even sure why I'm making it more difficult than it is. I'm just gonna pretend I'm actually applying. I'm really applying, but I'm just gonna put university studies. Second major, I'm gonna pick I don't know, maybe kinesiology, I guess. Continue, and then if you look at this tells you exactly what we're gonna be covering. Employment, extracurricular, and let's see whether and the scholarship section, like I told you, that, and the essay section as well, because A&M does require essay section, scholarship section, and that extracurricular activity and employment information questionnaires. But again, like I said, Sam Houston is much more easier than A&M's. A&M's does require a little bit more detail, and it will take you a lot more, a little bit more of time for you to complete it. But I'm gonna go ahead and continue to my app to give you an idea. So again, it's the same similar questions that you're going to be going over, nothing different. The only difference is that when you get to the extracurricular activities and employment information, it'll ask you about that information. Let me see if I can, like I said, if we were to have copied the Sam Houston's to A&M, you wouldn't need to answer this information anymore because it's already in there from your Sam Houston application. But like I said, it will take me a little bit more time to reach the extracurricular and employment information along with your scholarship section and your the essay section. So again, A&M does have an essay. Keep in mind, I have sent that topic to you already. So if you are trying to apply to A&M, remember that you do have to submit that essay as well on your application before you submit the final submission. But again, A&M and UT, you are going to have to do the extracurricular and employment information along with your essay and your essay and the scholarship section. So just keep in mind with that it's a little bit more lengthy. Now, what happens after you submit your application? Well, basically, then you will have to send in your transcript, your high school transcript. Where can you get your high school transcript? You can order that on campus once you get to campus, or you can send me an email, and I can try to request that transcript from you, for you from the registrar's office, Miss Tara Timmerman. She's the one who handles those transcripts. But like I said, if you can send me an email, or if you're going to be here on campus face to face, then you can go ahead and place that order yourself. What happens whenever you place that order? Well, Ms. Timmerman or Ms. Timmerman will more likely hand you the transcript, or she'll give it to me, and I can go ahead and mail it out for you or email it out, depending on the campus. I know some campuses are allowing for me to email that transcript for you, but if not, then we can always mail that out for you. But again, just to keep a note, whenever Ms. Timmerman hands you over the transcript, do not open the transcript because it turns into an official, and they need an official transcript, meaning that the envelope has to be sealed. But again, yes, for once you submit your application, you have to order your transcript, mail out that transcript. We can mail it out for you, and then submit your SAT scores or ACT scores if you want to. You don't have to, but you can if you want to. Is it going to hurt you? No, it will not hurt you to submit those SAT or ACT test scores as far as admission. And those are the two top things that you need to do once you submit your application through Apply Texas. Keep in mind that Apply Texas is only for colleges here in Texas and not outside of Texas. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope that it was helpful in some ways. I hope I didn't speak too fast for you. But again, you can click on our profile. Make sure that you, like I told you, make sure that if you have two last names, that you include two last names. Because once you submit your application, it is very difficult to get that name changed once it's already at the university. But again, keep a note that include two last names if you need to. For U.S. citizenship status, make sure that if you have questions about this particular section, let me know, and I can always help you out with that if you have questions about it. But again, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, like I said, just send me an email or send me a message through Remind 101, and I'll try to see if I can help you that way. But again, I'm going to go ahead and log off. And if you ever have questions, please reach out. But that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you have the good rest of your day, and hope to see you in here. Bye.